get an echo. Thank you for tuning in, man. I appreciate it. Hey, Kyle, welcome. Thank you guys. Thank you for tuning in, man. I appreciate it. We'll be on camera here in a minute. You all will see the entire bar. We'll be on camera here in a minute. You all will see the entire bar. I am also going to open it here. I am also going to decide what paper I'm going to work. So it goes without saying, but I'm gonna say it anyway, do not do this at home. That goes over.
I've been on the road, I've been doing shows. Now we even steak, remember sleeping on the floor. I need a lot of attention to do what I'm doing. Welcome everyone, thank you for tuning in. Thanks for saying, but I'm gonna say it anyway. Rocking fake J's, praying that nobody knows. Watch them take my dog away, it was way too hard to stay composed. Fight to see the light of day.
Come on, that I made that. It only took me 42 minutes to make a drink on stream. Just 42. Do not do this at home.
It looks like the encoder for TikTok is way behind.
Bring back the long hair.
Also trying to figure out.
It's actually really good. I have good news and I have more good.
How to find my own live stream, which is weird. My computer is struggling. There we go. Come on, we're so close. That should tell me if there's anything wrong, hopefully, maybe. TikTok is way behind.
Bring back the long hair.
Oh God, God help you. There we go, we'll do that so that y'all don't get an echo, at least. I feel like the last time we did this, it wasn't this difficult to go live. Well, that would be why. I'm using 100% of my CPU, so the live stream may actually crash. Ice, what's up? Welcome. And Hannah, welcome. Thank you for tuning. You have an echo/delay. Interesting. I think it's because I have some stuff unmuted that shouldn't be. still using 100% of my CPU, so I don't... How do I have 8 Chrome tabs open? And where? How? Okay, interesting. I don't know what I've just done. I don't know how I've never had this issue before, and it all seems to be happening now. Hi, Fives, welcome, thank you for tuning in. I'm trying to fix some technical difficulties that we're having right now. Mostly just that my computer is taking forever to start up.
I just hit.
I may just not be able to be live on TikTok, actually. Or I'm gonna have to do it the good old-fashioned way. Hello? Hello?
Hello.
Hey, are you outside?
Yeah, I'm outside the garage.
Alright, let me come get you.
Okay.
So it goes without saying, but I'm gonna say it anyway, do not do this at home.
I'm gonna wear the Campari apron that's back there, then. You can
I've been on the road. I've been doing shows. Now we in steak, remember sleeping on the floor.
A lot of attention to do what I'm doing. Welcome everyone. Thank you for tuning in.
Kitchen hostel trying to flip it out the stove. Rocking fake J's, praying that nobody knows.
All right.
Take my dog away.
No TikTok lives.
If I can see the light of day, I'll
Crazy to me that I made that. It only took me 42 minutes to make a drink on stream.
Not a whole lot.
Die too young. 100 miles per hour, might crash cause a good die young.
No, I don't think so.
Good die young.
I don't like short hair, Nico. Bring back the long hair.
And hopefully, if we have enough time, because racking 1 gallon of beer isn't going to take a whole lot of time, we just have to transfer it from this vessel to a different one. Your ear is in crisp focus right now.
Goddamn right it is.
I'll show you guys what I'm looking at. There you go. There's Dylan's ear, everyone.
Yeah.
Now look at me. Now look at Dylan's ear. Now look at me.
How good does my ear look?
It's in very crisp focus when it's in focus.
Hell yeah, brother.
I am drinking a Dos Equis for now. You're doing the Lord's work over there.
I know I am. I'm trying to figure out how you. I wasn't paying attention to how you had it hung up, so I'm just trying to figure out.
I just had the oh, that one's hard because it's got an X back. But yeah, I just take those straps and I put the hook through there.
And it's way easier than what I was trying to do. Okay, cool.
All right. Hey, N0ble, how's it going? Welcome back. Thank you for tuning in. And there we are. We're back in focus.
Yeet.
How long did you go to school? How do you mean? How long did I go to school? Like to be a bartender? I have a bachelor's degree, but it has nothing to do with my bartending.
Same.
Bartending schools are by and large a waste of money if you're trying to do it to get gainful employment. Most places will train you themselves, and in fact, even the best bartending schools are typically associated with bars, and you go there, they train you up, and you work at that bar. A good example is N0ble, which is actually in Lithuania, but you can look it up. The bar is named N0ble. They have, behind the bar, the floor folds up, and it's stairs that go down to a practice bar that has like 7 wells for bartenders to train.
Whoa.
Yeah.
So that sounds legit, but by and large, you're saying they're not legit.
Yeah,
waste of time.
there's a bunch of like cash grabs. Also, like bartending knowledge is largely apocryphal. Most of us can't really agree on one specific way that anything should be done ever all the time. So learning one thing from someone isn't going to help you when you get behind the bar someplace and their bar manager is like, whoa, why are you doing it that way? That's not how we do it here.
Yeah.
I'm going to show you how I want you to do it. And even small things like that, they're not going to bother to retrain you. They might just kick you out. They might be like, we'll find someone who's easier to train, someone who doesn't like want to do everything their way, even if that's not your intention going into it. In general, bartending schools are a waste of money.
So what he's saying is, don't stay in school, kids, if it's bartending.
Yes, don't stay in bartending school.
If it's something you like, then keep at it. Or don't.
Are my messages doubling? I think I need to restart Twitch. I don't think so. I do need to get John Luke down here because he was going to help us rack the beer. So you can freestyle. Do a cold open. Do a set.
I don't have any material. I didn't come with any material prepared.
Me neither.
Damn it. Alright. Well. How's it going, everybody? Y'all good? Nick went to go get John Luke because we're doing some bottling stuff, beer bottling stuff here. So, gonna be doing that this evening. Yeah, I'm not drunk yet. I actually haven't had any alcohol yet. So, might you have any other beer? More beer? Is this a different type of Dos Equis or just like a... Oh, never mind. Is it normally in a green bottle?
Yes, I think.
Hey Nick,
This is Amber Especial. Yes?
I just remember there gotta be a solution like 20 minutes. Totally lost track of time.
Aw,
Yeah.
fake and lame. That's alright. Racking the beer isn't super complicated. We're just transferring it for secondary fermentation.
Alright. Yeah, sorry about that.
No worries.
I'm here.
Alright, everyone.
Oh, hey Dylan.
What's up, man?
Oh, hey, Dylan. The wait is over, and you heard it here first. That's right, next month. We're not learning how to make beer. We're going to be learning how to tattoo, and I'm going to tattoo Dylan first, and you guys get to decide what I'm going to put on his body forever.
On my
no,
face.
I'm kidding. We're not going to do that. That's not happening.
On my face. That's what she said.
If we have enough time after we rack the beer, I have a bunch of these bottles from True Supply Co. that are supposed to be
That's pretty cool.
super easy to clean, super easy to batch a bunch of stuff in. I just used one to make... Is it down? Yeah. Here we go.
Ooh.
It needs to be burped, I think.
What you got going on in there?
Pickling.
Yep, smells like pickles.
I'm pickling some sweet peppers and some red onion. And then I'm going to use those for garnish later. And then the pickling juice itself I'm going to use for like dirty martinis and stuff.
Ooh, that sounds
My version of a dirty martini. We can use some of it tonight if you want.
That sounds
But the main thing that we're doing is we're going to be racking this beer. And if you guys have never made beer at home or you've never looked this up, I call it racking. I don't know because that's what you would call it if you're making mead. But it's just the process where you transfer everything out of here into a separate container so that it's off of all of this trub and everything. So we'll cut to camera 2 so that you guys can kind of see that. All of that is like dead yeast cells and just solids that have come out of solution and stuff like that. So we're going to transfer this off of that so that it doesn't impart any extra like bitter, harsh flavors to what is still here. Now, I think you may be able to see it here on camera 2. The airlock up here, this exploded in some sense. So basically the beer built up, went all the way through the burp valve. So there's now yeast in here as well, which is probably not good. I've never seen this. This hasn't happened to me before. It's also all very sticky. And I think that probably happened because we milled the grains extra, extra fine. Lovely aprons, bros. Thank you. There we go. That's how a heart is shaped.
Yeah. Something like that.
Balls. Who is better at making drinks?
Well, gonna tell you, it's not me. I don't make
I was
drinks.
gonna say one of us has done it for a living, so
And one
it's
of us
probably me in
doesn't.
general.
The most drink making I do is the few times I've done it
You make a
on
Hulk,
the stream.
an Incredible Hulk, who's just hypnotic and Hennessy.
Ooh. Did you ever have you
That
read
would
that
be
before?
a throwback. Yes, I've definitely had a Hulk before.
Son, that's if you want an interesting and potentially violent night. Incredible Hulk. Incredible Hulk is hypnotic and Hennessy for those keeping score at home.
Mm-hmm.
And seems like a lot of people have horror stories with Hennessy.
I'm gonna get
I don't know why.
something to get this up off the ground, and then I'm gonna have to use a siphon to pull this into another carboy. So I'm gonna grab another carboy, another airlock, and I think I'm gonna put this on a bucket up there and some tubes. So I'll be right back. Hold on.
Okay. Yeah, I'm definitely not better at making drinks. I've never made them at all. The most drink making I do typically on a regular basis is pouring shots. So, kind of doesn't count. Okay, can I... Fives 2027 asks... Okay, can I ask you a question? Marvel or DC? Nick, Marvel or DC? Marvel or DC?
Marvel in general?
Yeah. Yeah, I would agree with that. I also say Marvel. At least, at the very least, as far as film goes. In my opinion, DC has had maybe 2 or 3 decent films. The first Wonder Woman 1984 was trash in my opinion. Aquaman was surprisingly good, like really good. Aquaman is kind of lame in my opinion, or like my idea of him, he was kind of lame. So seeing that movie and what it was pretty awesome. But other than that, gotta go with Marvel.
I forgot the bucket. Dang it.
You forgot the dang old bucket.
I'm sorry.
To the gulag. Fives 2027 asks what character? What?
How do you mean?
How do you mean? What? Yeah, elaborate, please.
I'm gonna put this on.
Oh, hi Hannah.
Yes, that is Mama Bear.
Hi Hannah.
Herself.
Hashtag Rampage Juice.
All right, we're gonna take this off now. This is gnarly.
Oh Jesus.
Camera 1 might be able to give you guys a better idea of what this actually looks like. Your airlock, by the way, should be clear. It shouldn't have any solids in it for sure, but it shouldn't be yellow as well. So we'll see. We'll see how this tastes when we're done making it. There's a bunch of solids and stuff that have, I think that's all dead yeast that's caked up over there. Howdy. Hi there. Ni hao.
We live streaming.
Alright, so I need to get this like kind of perfectly there. I can see the bottom. I don't want it to go all the way in there because I don't want to pull that stuff that's down there.
What is that stuff down there?
Like yeast,
sediment.
dead yeast and sediment pretty much.
Mm.
Oh wait, there are clothespins I think behind you in that drawer. Maybe they're in this drawer. Or maybe I can use this thing, whatever the hell this is. I feel like probably not. I feel like this isn't gonna work. That's not gonna do anything at all.
Yeah, let's see any clothespins in here.
They may not be in there. I know I had a ton of them though. Well, alternatively, you could just hold this still while I try and transfer everything. Yeah, just keep the like black dot here somewhere so that we can see where it is and we can see if it's pulling any of the sediment up. So what we're going to do is we're going to make a funnel, and no, this isn't going to be sanitary, and that's okay. But basically, once the liquid travels below this point, gravity will cause it to continuously flow. That's why this has to be higher up than this part.
Science.
First, though, I have to try to not drink some of it. Blow on it? No, that's the opposite of what you're supposed to do.
Don't do that then. Inhale on it. Okay, it's getting there. Okay. Making some progress here, making some headway.
The thing is, I really don't want to drink it right now. Tastes like beer.
It's a good sign.
Yeah, that's what you want, I've heard.
That's what we're going for.
That's what the pros tell me.
Chug, chug, chug.
Come on. Come on. There we go. We have a siphon now.
Hey, now.
See, it did make a small dent right there. But I think if we keep it still,
Whoops.
it should be fine.
And this is the part of the stream where we have a little bit of dead time. My favorite Marvel character is Bucky Barnes. Interesting choice.
Who said that? Why? Chug! No, God, no.
Yeah, Bucky Barnes is an interesting choice. Speaking of which, I actually just started watching What If for the first time.
I actually really enjoyed it. I enjoyed
It's
it
pretty
so
cool.
much I had to watch the rest of it without Hannah because she didn't want to watch it at first.
Did she not like it?
That's my fault. No, she did enjoy it once we started watching it, but like,
No.
I would be here and she would be at home, or I would be at home and she would be at work, and then even when we're in the same place together, I'd be like, do you want to watch a What If? And we're both like, I don't know, I'm tired. I don't really want to have to pay attention to a storyline.
I understand.
So we would watch something like
It's definitely
Bob's Burgers or something instead.
It's definitely not like background watching or background noise shows like
Oh, no.
that at all. It's not like The Office or something. Although The Office obviously has incredible writing, an incredible story in my opinion.
Where's my beer? And this is how you transfer beer. Cheers. The reason you want to do this, typically, you don't have to for many beers. You don't have to transfer it into secondary fermentation, but you want to transfer, in theory, you want to transfer off of that initial cake of sediment and dead yeast, because the longer your beer sits on top of that, the more it will pick up like bitter, astringent flavors. And this is supposed to be a golden ale. It's supposed to be something that's like very crisp, very refreshing, kind of like medium in body, not heavy, not bitter, not sour.
I'm not a big fan of sours.
No, I mean, well, except for like
I can't get into it like that.
lambics,
Yeah,
like framboise and stuff like that.
those are okay. Still not something I would slam like a 6-pack of.
Framboise.
Framboise. Alright, just about there. It's as if time has slowed down.
So close. What if we tilt it? Oh no, what have I done? Yes. 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 No! 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 Not that. There we go. Now the rest of that is just dirt. That'll go in the sink. I think that we did really well.
Yeah.
I think that went really well. This is going to be a pain in the ass to sanitize later on, but that actually went much better than I thought it would.
Yeah, it didn't get messed up. We did alright.
I think we deserve
I think shot. We do. What do you want a shot of?
rum.
Okay.
Which rum is it going to be? Probably the one I bought a handle of. The one I have the most of.
Of course. Can't go wrong with Bacardi, I suppose.
Or you could take a shot of that pickling juice that I have.
I would.
I know you would. I might. Why don't we do pickleback shots?
What is in a pickleback? Pickle juice and what else?
So a back, when you go to a bar, if something is a something back, it just means you have a little bit of whatever that thing is on the side. A pickleback is anything that comes with a little bit of pickle juice on the side. Normally, way back, people would have water backs, Coke backs, Sprite backs, so that you would have a little chaser for whatever your shot was or your drink.
Why pickles of all things?
I think it's
like
because it's briny.
the brininess mixed with.
That saltiness, maybe.
Is there a?
So look at that. That's everything. We'll show you this on camera 1 here. That's everything. I'll slosh it back and forth so you can really see it. Yeah, that's everything that we kept from not ruining the brew, but adding any extra flavors that we didn't want to be in there. That's pretty ideal, actually. Cool thing about this, too, is that if we had some more raw beer or wort, then we could use this now. That yeast is still active.
Oh, okay. So, what are you trying to say?
I don't think we're going to do that today.
All right, okay. Fair enough.
Maybe next time.
Also, with picklebacks, is there a certain? So it does not come with like a typical liquor.
The most common thing that people do now is that they'll use, I think, Jameson is what most people have in a pickleback. So much so that like that's what people expect to have, I think. Warp valve, get it right.
your pickleback.
I don't.
Just not
I
even.
haven't really ever had a pickleback, so
Oh.
today could be the first time. This is now pretty much ready.
Hannah says, "Let him try the pickle juice for the pickleback." Seems fair. Seems reasonable.
One thing I do want to do, actually, I need you to do me a favor and hold that right side up because there's liquid in it. I don't want it to spill. This isn't sanitary, what I'm about to do, but I want to introduce some more oxygen in there.
Oh, it looks so good. Ugh.
There we go. Now the yeast is active again. Ta-da!
You did it.
I did it!
You did it, comrade.
It's bubbling. It's kind of hard to tell. I might be able to show you guys better on camera 1 if I can get the camera to focus correctly. This thing's pretty heavy. Okay. I'm going to write on you, and then we're going to put you away, and then we're going to do a celebratory shot.
What is
Look
this?
at that.
What is this, a gallon?
Yeah. To 8. I'll just say 7:30. And then this beer will be ready to bottle in, I think, 2 to 3 weeks.
Hell yeah, brother. This is going to be unsanitary. Spits in the jug for good measure. Hey man, you gotta do what you gotta do. This is going to be unsanitary. Spits in the jug for good measure.
Yeah. Just a heads up. Don't do this at home. Alright, we're going to pour the liquor first. And then we're going to pour these picklebacks.
So you take the shot, then the pickle juice. You don't mix it together.
I believe so, yes. I think.
Hannah, can you clarify?
I have a really bad habit of leaving that on camera 1. So, because we don't do anything easy here, you're supposed to burp this too, I think, as you're making it. We talked about this before, but if you just showed up in the last few minutes, this is a pickling brine. We have red onions and some sweet peppers in here. 2 orange, 2 red. The only thing that affects is sweet peppers change color depending on how old they are. So I think it's something like the older, the more supple, or the more sweet, or whatever. So I picked the ones that would have, I thought, a good balance of being sweet to spicy. And then the pickling brine that we're using is actually the same house-made pickling brine that they use at New York Butcher Shop here in Charlotte. It is really good.
That place was tremendous. I need to go back there.
Yep, looks like pickle juice.
I'm going to do a small taste test first before we do this.
I've already tasted it.
Oh, okay. Well, no, fuck it then. I'll just... Who is your celebrity crush? Nicolas.
Myself.
He's also my celebrity
Lawyered.
crush.
I don't think I consider myself a celebrity, in all honesty. I think just popular makes sense to me, because there are things that celebrities deal with pretty regularly as celebrities that I don't. I think I've only ever had 2 people that didn't already know me beforehand recognize me from my content out in the wild.
What was that like? Like
Pretty ordinary. I think they were surprised how excited I was that they knew who I was.
did it kind of trip you out at first? Like, whoa, like people are starting to know me from this thing?
It was weird because they didn't treat me the way you would expect people to treat ordinary people. So normally it's like, hey, are you Cointrick on TikTok? Do you make drinks on TikTok? And I'm like, yeah, man, that's me. What's up? Do you follow me? What videos of mine have you seen? And then they freeze up and they're like,
All of them.
I really like your videos. Yeah, let's sit down. Let's talk about it. Like, what do you like about my videos?
It's pretty cool.
I don't know. I get really excited when people recognize me out in the wild, especially now that I'm not behind the bar. One of the things I always worried about, and y'all were great about this, my viewers, community, audience, because there were people who knew me from social media who would come into Dilworth Tasting Room. They never sat at the bar, though. They would just tell their servers, like, hey, is that Nico? And they'd be like, yeah, that's Nico. You've probably seen him on TikTok. And they're like, yeah, man, I love his videos.
That's pretty cool.
Just tell him he had a couple of fans come in. And that happened, like, pretty much every weekend, which was
cool.
really interesting. Well, also, my nightmare was that, like, I would have a bar full of, not full of, I guess, because that's pretty great, but have, like, people try to belly up to the bar to get my attention and, like, sit down and talk with me, which is what I want to do, too. But when I have to do that and also work on 17 drinks at the same time, it's kind of hard to hold a meaningful conversation when the person I'm talking to is trying to tell me something that they're passionate about, and all I can hear is...
Yeah. A lot of stuff gets lost in
What?
translation,
Sorry,
probably.
I was trying to listen, but I couldn't hear a word you were saying. It's not you. I can't stop making drinks. What were you talking about? It's that kind of dynamic. But luckily that, except for maybe once, that didn't really ever happen.
That's good.
But shot and then pickle juice.
Are you in the U.S. and in South Carolina? We're in North Carolina, the better of the two Caroleys. South Carolina can kick rocks.
True Caroli. Cheers.
Cheers.
I should have prefaced that with the fact that I do not like pickles. I don't at all. That's why I've never actually done a pickleback.
I didn't mind that. That was okay.
That was better than I thought it was going to be, because I think it's because it's had a little bit of time to absorb the onion and the pepper flavor.
I like picklebacks.
I think it is really crisp and refreshing, but I want it ice cold, shaken with vodka.
Yeah. It's definitely different, but I like it. I like it.
I like the aftertaste now, actually. I mean, I'm sure my breath smells horrid right now, but I like that. I think I get asked this a lot, what I think the next wave of things that people are going to try in bars are, or at home, and I think using pickling brine and making salty and savory cocktails is maybe not the next wave, but I think it's a big thing that's coming, because it also helps with sustainability. All of your veggies and stuff that you have that you are going to go bad, or you have like mint that's wilting and stuff like that, just pickle it. And then use whatever you've pickled, the solids, use those for garnishes on salads or whatever. And then the liquid that you have, use that as your brine in all of your dirty drinks.
Makes sense to me.
Ooh.
Yeah, I got
that
too.
burp was delicious.
I got that too.
I must say. I want actually, this is the cool thing about these bottles too, is if I want to get those out of there, I can do that and just take some tongs and grab one and put it on a drink, or I was just thinking I would love this on some steak. Some like really fatty barbecued grilled steak.
Oh. Yes. This emoji. The Italian emoji.
Which is also the smoking weed emoji, depending on who you ask.
Really?
Sriracha, pickle, vodka, martini, yummy. I guess it would kind of be like that.
Have you been watching the Olympics?
Have I? Oh, Annex Skywalker, welcome. Thank you for tuning in. No, I haven't been keeping up with the Olympics.
I watched a cool 10 minutes of
Curling.
Curling is so interesting to me. Like, now this is coming from someone who doesn't know anything about curling, but just whenever I look at it, it's like it's goofy looking, but it's fascinating looking at the same time. Like, I know there's a method to the madness and everything that they're doing, but the entire setup of it all is...
It's such like a rhetorically, needlessly complicated sport. It's like water polo.
Yeah.
I really get the sense when I watch curling that someone, when they were thinking of this game, was like, Okay, this first thing that you do, I don't know why they sound like they're from Russia, but the first thing you do is you're going to take the stone and you're going to slide it across the ice.
And you're gonna be really dramatic with it too. Like they don't just do that. Yeah. It's a whole
There
thing.
you go.
And then we going to get 2 teammates to get broom and sweep ice in front of rock.
Yeah, this is a conversation with 2 Russian people, actually, is how curling was invented. The first one was like, all you have to do is get rock in the middle of circle.
Ivan.
And then someone else was like, no, listen, we can make it more complicated.
Listen, Ivan, bring me broom. I show you how to do it. Okay, you get broom when you see rock on ice. You sweep as if you you sweep as if
You Swiffer.
you Swiffer. And and did we watch it go?
Swiffer actually invented curling. Fun fact.
Hashtag,
That's not a fact, actually, at all. Don't check that.
hashtag history.
This is the best part of the stream so far. I kind of thought it would be. Racking beer is not that complicated.
Looking juicy.
Thank you, man.
What's up, buddy? Generally coming down here in nothing but a bathrobe.
A plaid robe.
That's
on my
okay.
head.
What?
Nothing. Don't worry about it, John Luke.
Keep your dick in your robe.
I was like waiting for the laughter.
Oh, luge. That's not what I was watching. What's the difference between luge and bobsled? What am I thinking of? What the hell's a luge?
Bobsled,
I know what-
you're being pulled.
What's a luge then?
Luge is when you jump in the thing and you're taken with gravity. Luge, you're laying on your back. A bobsled, you're forward.
Oh.
A luge is also, I think, just a one-person thing.
Oh. Okay.
N0ble, welcome. Thank you for tuning in on YouTube. I appreciate it. How's it going?
Did either one of you do sports in school or after?
Luge is feet first. Skeleton. Bobsled?
Hi, N0ble.
There's double luge. I thought there was. I kind of remember there's a version where there's someone laying on their back and then someone who jumps, or like someone who is behind them, and there's like controls on the side of the luge for,
Yeah.
or maybe there's not controls, but like you're supposed to be leaning to get the right amount of turn and everything. You guys look up the speeds that you reach in bobsleds and in a luge. It's crazy.
What are they?
I don't remember exactly, but it's as fast as a car, faster than most cars go.
Nah, I'm cool. I'm out.
On ice.
I'm out.
That's why I'm not in the front or the back. I'm always happy Pierre there in the middle.
That's
Whenever
right.
I bobsled, which happens.
You're a luge switch. Or bobsled switch. You're a bobsled switch.
I feel like there's a better pun in there. Bobsled?
Bobsled switch.
Bob switch?
Okay. So like the people that are in the bobsled, do they have different names depending on where they're seated?
Mojo and Curly? No, I don't. I think there's like the leader, and then there's the anchor, and I think in a bobsled team there's 4 people. I want to say. I think.
If I remember Cool Runnings, the fantastic Jamaican bobsled movie that I think I do. I think you're right.
I don't really remember very much from Cool Runnings.
I don't either.
Okay, good.
I saw it.
2 or 4. Okay. So there are 2 people then in the middle. What do they do?
So skeleton, luge is feet first. Skeleton is head first. Oh, I thought they were saying skeleton was the name of the person like in the front.
Oh, no,
Sorry.
No.
Yeah.
That comment
Got
was
it.
from just 2 minutes ago.
Yeah, my fault.
Shaft mid. Hannah.
So you're what we would call
Mid.
You're versatile mid.
Yeah. Verse mid.
Yeah. Cool Runnings is a great movie. Fives 2027. Did either one of you do sports in school or after?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We were actually on the rugby team together, and this one still plays rugby.
Yeah. Well, that's on pause right now because I may have a
Torn meniscus.
Torn meniscus. So. And I wasn't even making contact when that happened. So. But yeah, I play football as well. Football and rugby. American football, that is.
Yeah, getting old is a real thing.
Dude, it's like
It sucks.
it's like I turned 30 and shit. And I keep in mind, I turned 30 a month and a half ago, and I feel like I'm falling apart. Seriously.
I feel this. I mean, like it's a bit dramatic, but I can't convey this to young people. Yeah, I still think that you and I are young, but like there are things that I have to deal with in my body that people who are like even 2 years younger than me probably aren't dealing with.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Like getting old is a trip.
Yeah.
You think you know your body because you're like, man, I've been in this flesh sack for almost 3 decades, and then you turn 30, and it's like, oh, whoa, whoops. I didn't know this is the thing that my body is supposed to do all of the time.
You know what? I realized for me, things sort of like physiologically started to change. I'd say at about 27, 28. Like very subtle. Very subtle. But like, it's kind of hilarious. Like, it's kind of funny. Like, literally since turning 30, this happened. Like, shit is just hurting now.
Yeah. I'll just
For
do
no
like
reason.
random stuff and or like holding Rosalie, for example. I'll just hold her thinking I'm doing great, and I'm like, I'll hold her for like 20 minutes, and Rosalie weighs about 30 pounds, and so then I'll like go to put her down, and when I stand back up, my neck is like, because I've just been holding her in one arm in a locked position for 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Like, imagine if you were going to do dumbbell curls with 30 pounds in one hand and nothing in the other hand, and you just held that like this.
Yeah.
For 20 minutes
That'd be
while you're
brutal.
walking around, doing stuff, picking things up off the floor.
Brutal. That'd be brutal. Oh, you did gymnastics. I forgot about that.
Yeah. I competed in club gymnastics when I was in college.
Oh, Hannah tore your meniscus in soccer. How long was the recovery time? Because
10 days. No, it's probably a lot longer than that, actually.
I'm going to say probably like 4 to 8 weeks. If it's a complete tear, obviously on the lengthier end of that.
I'm 22 and I feel old. So the thing is, like, I felt old when I was 22 also. I feel young now, but my body feels old.
Yeah.
I don't know a better way to explain that. Like, I now know the difference, right? I know when I feel young, because before I took all that stuff for granted. Now, when I have that extra energy, I'm like, hell yeah, let's do it. I'm going to clean the living room. I'm going to do this. I'm going to get all this stuff done. And then afterwards, my body is like, hey, Chief, listen. You're going to have to sit down for this.
You got to pump the brakes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so if you play sports out there or you work out and whatnot, take recovery seriously. Take care of yourself.
I thought I had bad knees when I was doing gymnastics. No.
Dude.
I have bad knees now.
Yep. Same here.
You know you're getting old, by the way. Maybe just men. I don't know if this happens to women because I don't hear Hannah do this ever. But men, you will know when you're getting old. When you bend over to do something very simple and you go, and you like picked your phone up off the floor.
Yeah. Yeah, that's it. Or like you just like anytime.
That's when I knew. I can't do anything without going,
without making a noise.
yeah.
Do you do that same noise when you're sitting down?
Yes.
Or when you're
getting
getting
into the sofa.
Yeah. Same. I do too. Oh, 3 months. Oh, Jesus. God, I'm gonna have bird legs. Not really, but
I was in color guard for a few years. I actually really wanted to do color guard, and then my parents were like, "No, that's not a sport," which is kind of why I wanted to do it in the first place. But then rugby came along, which was like a godsend. Rugby in our school was like, if you wanted to play football, but also didn't care if you got hurt.
right. Or
If you had a wanton disregard for your own safety, you played rugby at our high school.
or if you're on the football team and weren't getting enough playtime, just
Yep.
made the switch to rugby, which our coaches did
We
not
ran
like.
them ragged, though.
Yes,
I
we
loved
did.
playing with the football players.
Yeah. Well, because and like especially like a lot of those guys.
Offense taken. Oh, I'm sorry. No. I mean, at the time, I was like 14. So, yeah. I wasn't even in my right mind at the time. But that was why it appealed. Well, I also did XMA and stuff like that because I was doing martial arts up until that point, and I was on a demonstration team. And my specialty was using the staff in demonstrations. XMA is extreme martial arts. It's demonstration-focused martial arts.
I have never heard of that before.
Look it up.
Extreme martial arts?
Yeah.
Is it part of the X Games?
No. It's purely aesthetic. It's like the stuff that I would do is like I would take a staff and then I would do half of like one regular form, and then I would do something like throw it up in the air and then like grab, like turn around and grab it and like whip it behind my neck and stuff like that. And when I was watching people do color guard, I was always thinking like, that seems like stuff I do. I just don't do it with like a flag or whatever. I'm used to doing crazy stuff with a staff.
So XMA is, in that regard, is if it's more or has a like a heavy performative aspect, is it kind of like similar to, I'm probably not going to say this right, capoeira?
Similar, yeah. There's a lot of stuff that XMA borrows from capoeira.
Okay, so I kind of got it right. Yeah. Because I know that's considered technically a martial art, but it's not combat based.
The way to make XMA make sense and describe it well is when you think of the term martial arts, XMA is all the way just on the arts side of that spectrum, whereas things like Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu are all the way on the martial side of that spectrum. Like they're just exactly. There's not there's like form and everything to what you do, but there's no aesthetic to like when you're boxing and they're like, make sure that when you punch, you turn your hand all the way over so that they can see the inside of your palm. For some reason, that's brutally efficient, and that's one of those martial arts that is designed to cause damage and keep you safe. XMA is none of that stuff. It's just all of the frills, all of the just the art and the expression in martial arts, and then everything else is pretty much, not everything else, but most of everything else is like in the middle between those two things. Like even Taekwondo, karate, those are probably near the middle of that spectrum, because those are the martial arts where they teach you, like, if somebody throws a punch at you, you take their hand and you do all these like crazy movements, when in reality the most effective thing to do if somebody throws a punch at you is to go like block and then just like hit them somehow or run.
Move like water, be the water.
I do karate, but I do karate. 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 But yeah, I dipped into a lot of different martial arts when I was younger, when I was doing XMA. The main thing that we were doing was Taekwondo, which meant that I was learning mostly kicks, and then I, in my free time, had to figure out where and how to pick up weapons to learn those things. I do Quidditch. Yeah, perfectly valid. We didn't have Quidditch or it was like relatively new when you and I were still in high school.
So is Quidditch like in high schools or wherever like a club sport, basically?
I think so.
Treated that way?
I believe there's some form of competitive league.
Taekwondo,
in my opinion, is fancy dancing.
I would disagree. Taekwondo is like serious top level Taekwondo practitioners are legit. 100%.
It's about
it's not the end-all be-all for martial arts, that's for sure.
Using the most devastating part of your body in combat.
Yeah.
And not your dick. So,
right.
The thing with Taekwondo, there's so many things that are focused around like your hips and like twisting and turning, and one foot pointed this way and another pointed another way. But it's mostly about using your legs, because that's where it's about your body's connection to the earth. And the first thing that the earth is connected to is your feet. Your feet are connected to your legs, and everything happens in your body from there. That's kind of like a core philosophy of like deep level Taekwondo. So that's the premise. That's why like people who are like at the highest level of Taekwondo are the kinds of people who could stand in front of you completely relaxed and then immediately kick you in the side of the face.
Yeah.
And there would be no way to react to that.
Yeah.
You would have no time. All you would have enough time to do is go, what? And that's it. And you'd be knocked out.
Yeah. I feel like if I would have discovered it or like knew about it when I was younger, I probably would have given like MMA a shot.
Castle King, what's up? Welcome. Thank you for tuning in on Twitch. I appreciate it.
What's up, player?
I feel like less and less people are joining. Joining what? The live stream? I feel like this is the most people we've had talking in a live stream in a long time. Besides, we're not live on TikTok at the same time. That tends to kind of like inflate our numbers a little bit. But we had some technical difficulties, and we made the executive decision to just like not fucking worry about it, honestly.
Yeah.
So we're here for you guys tonight.
Yeah. We are at your disposal.
We've racked the beer, and now we're just...
kind of just got to drink and keep talking.
Yeah, pretty much. It's like my favorite part of the live streams, really.
Yeah.
So, one thing that I said that we could do if we had enough time and we'd finished making the beer fast enough, or racking it, I wanted to use these extra bottles that I had to make some cool stuff. This is the most complicated thing that I'm probably going to make, and this doesn't have to have anything more done to it. I may take it back to Hannah and ask her to put more pickling juice in here, but I think this is that's a good amount of like vegetation and pickling, I think.
Yeah.
But I have 9 more of these. So I'm going to figure out what exactly to put in these. I don't have any sugar, otherwise I would make some simple syrup. I have rich simple, but I also need to swap out pretty much all of the syrups and stuff that I have in my fridge because I made them all a long time ago.
Oh.
They're all bad, and you will never know how long ago I made them.
N0ble asks, so I have a question. In your experience behind the bar, what is your opinion on Bloody Marys? I think that's what they are called.
Yeah. Yes. That's just not the... Marys would be M-A-R-Y-S. M-A-R-R-I-E-S is a verb. But yeah. I think Bloody Marys are meant to be savory cocktail. And typically, your Bloody Marys are meant to kind of be a hangover remedy. Not one that I would recommend because, like, fixing your hangover by continuing to drink is, like, literally step 1 of alcoholism. So I don't do that. I think they definitely have their place. Now that we've done these pickle shots, and I'm thinking that, like, pickling agents and shrubs and things like that, more astringent, bitter, savory, umami liquids are going to be coming into cocktails here soon. I think Bloody Marys are going to have sort of, like, a renaissance to themselves where they're being reinvented, and instead of using like tomato juice and radishes or whatever you have in your Bloody Mary mix, like using things like cream of celery, which we talked about on the live stream before, to make a savory, creamy cocktail.
That sounds
like a salad style cocktail, pretty much.
I don't like that. I don't know if I like that.
No?
I don't know, man. I don't know.
Really refreshing cocktail with like one of these like pickled things on the top, almost like you're getting like a cocktail shrimp, but on the sides you have like pickled sweet peppers, pickled onions, and you're picking those off of there and eating those, and you're drinking your drink.
All that sounds cool, but you lost me with the cream of celery.
Oh, well, I mean, I think some other sort of savory, it could be cream of celery, or it could be like mushroom broth, it could be so many things, just like using savory ingredients in cocktails.
All right.
For the vegan, yeah, well, I mean, I wasn't thinking about that, but yes, it would also technically be vegan. Like most liquor. But it would be probably a better selling point if you were like, hey, we have this thing that's our health cocktail.
It's vegan and gluten-free.
Yeah, it's...
It has, what's the vodka?
Tito's?
Yes, thank you. Yeah, it has Tito's in it.
All liquor is gluten-free unless it has additives that have gluten in them.
Now you know. The more you know.
Yeah, gluten literally
We
can't be transferred during distillation. It's too heavy to ride the vapors, basically, of the alcohol, so it's always left behind, all of it.
Now is when we need the more you know banner. The more you know.
The more you know. The more you hoe.
Shall we have another shot or something?
Or just open another beer.
Or that works for me too. I'm game.
I'm gonna open another beer.
Okay.
2 beers. Okay.
Beer's good. Good. Thank you.
I like that your apron matches your pants. And your shoes.
Yeah, son. Let me see if we can. Yeah.
Meanwhile, I'm just over here wearing a regular black apron. Actually, this was a gift from Hannah's mom. I actually really like this apron. It's one of my favorites because it's not branded. I like that it's... And you can't see the pockets. There are so many pockets.
Let's see.
And I can do that.
Well, you know what?
Body cam footage.
It's not a bad idea, actually. Actually, it's not a good idea either. Like, why would you want to get
True.
body cam footage? I have a lot of those.
I used to do that with that apron over there. Has a pocket here perfectly in the middle. It's the only other one that I can do this trick with. And I would live stream to TikTok with that there during the rush. You'd be surprised how many people just like are totally fine with cameras, like a tiny camera just being pointed directly at them.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of... It's not kind of... It's normal. No.
I also hate brands, so I think it looks lovely. If it were my brand, I wouldn't mind, but like... You guys probably haven't noticed this, but the face of one of my old bar managers is on probably my highest quality apron. And no, not Nick Offerman, as much as I wish he was one of my old bar managers. That's fine, it doesn't bother me. It's just that having his face on me while I am doing my content feels kind of weird.
Yeah.
So when I got this and there was like nothing on it, I was actually super excited. It is technically, I think this is a grilling apron though. Yeah, like this is for your thermometer. I have one of everything. Sometimes it feels that way.
Yep, this one at the bottom is in case you need to, get rid of the excess juice in your steak. Oh, let's see. This is
That goes down here.
it goes right in the crotchal region, the frontal crotchal region, and this is if like some small children get near the grill and you gotta get away. That's that. Let's see.
That's our club. This is where you put your sword here in this loop. If you have a sheath that fits right here for your grilling sword.
Master sword is preferable.
Oh, wait, hold on. This is the most important light and it's not turned on. That actually is my favorite light in the entire setup. You guys can't even see it, so it doesn't matter to you. There's a little teacup light that I have that looks like half of a teacup.
It's pretty cool. And this. Well, I don't know what the heck this is, but just in case you need it for grilling steaks, it's going to go right there next to the child reprimander. Yeah.
Don't worry, you can't really generate much lethal force with this.
Well.
And then Nico does the, "What's in my apron?"
If they're young enough and their head is soft enough.
It doesn't have to sound like Seinfeld, though, when you do that.
Yeah, you did sound like Seinfeld. So
what's the deal with my apron?
It's not bad. It's not a bad Seinfeld.
What flavor do you wish there was in the alcohol beer world that isn't a thing? For example, candy flavors or pizza flavors, where your aftertaste is the flavor. While I'm probably reading that too quietly for the microphone to pick up, so I'll do that again. I'm sorry. N0ble is asking, what flavor do you wish there was in the alcohol or beer world that isn't a thing? For example, candy flavors or something like pizza flavors where your aftertaste of that flavor, while the main hit is the alcohol. I'm excited for cocktails not being something, not just being a vehicle for alcohol, and I think hopefully at some point in the far-flung future, mocktails and cocktails won't be separate, but being a mixologist will be kind of like being a saucier, which is a chef that specializes in making sauces. And being a mixologist will be like being a chef that specializes in making drinks.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
We're not quite there yet, but we're so close. And a lot of the things that are stopping us are all these hang-ups on things like, oh, well, our cocktails have to have alcohol in them. Cocktails are simply the vehicle to get alcohol into my body without me knowing it or whatever. Like, people, we need to change, I think, the way that we as a society think about drinking and making it more part of our meal, just in general, which is what we used to do. Way back. If we get back to that, I think cocktails will explode and mocktails will explode a lot more than they already have. And you're seeing some of that now with the advent in non-alcoholic brands. So hopefully that answers your question. But yeah, I think once we cross that bridge, then we'll be ready to have all those conversations about, like, how do I have a pizza in a glass? How do I have, like, a medium rare steak with salsa verde in a glass?
See, the thing about that, though, is for, like, all those great foods, like a steak or pizza, the biggest thing you're losing out on, taste is great, but, I mean, shit, like, half of whatever you're tasting is texture, I feel like.
Texture is big for me, for sure.
Like, if I'm eating a steak, I want, you know what I'm saying?
You want to be able to bite it, chew into it,
I don't wanna,
feel the sinew.
I don't want to just get straight to the taste.
So there's a cocktail competition that I'm getting into. It's another one between me and Sin City Bartender. So calling it a cocktail competition is a bit of an exaggeration because, like, we don't have a prize. I try to do better than him. He tries to do better than me, and we have a good time in general. This next one that we're going to do is going to be Valentine's themed, and I want to make a red velvet cake cocktail. But I want it to have the texture of cake. And the only way to do that I can think of is using ice cream. Vanilla ice cream, red beetroot powder, and then, like, spices and things, and then maybe either rum or vodka. I'm thinking of doing a hot buttered rum punch, but making our own, like, red velvet ice cream as the base.
You can make that happen. I'm just trying to picture how the texture would come out, or like how it would work.
There's no way to get it to be as light and fluffy as the way that I like cake to feel.
Yeah.
But it has to be cold by nature. Well, it doesn't have to be cold, but, like, most cocktails are going to be ice cold. So I think using ice cream will help bridge the gap between those two things.
That'll be interesting.
So it's going to be somewhere between an espresso martini and a hot buttered rum punch.
I've never had either of those.
I haven't made you an espresso martini before?
I just had my first martini ever last week.
An espresso martini and a martini are two very different things.
Martini of any kind.
Oh, okay.
Ever. Any martini.
I can make you one if you want.
Do I want... How much espresso are we talking?
There's like one shot of espresso in there. I could make you one with cold brew coffee instead. It's just not going to be as creamy.
Now, maybe drinking espresso and coffee this late, probably.
Lame. Fake and lame.
What's the other drink you mentioned?
A hot buttered rum punch. That is not one that I can just crack out. There's a lot of prep that goes into that.
That's cool.
Those of you who don't know, there's two canonical ways that you can make hot buttered rum punch. All the way back, super complicated. You had to, like, go out and get butter and melt it and get all these spices and everything, and then, like, it was only good for a certain amount of time. What people began to do after that to simplify the cocktail, because it was needlessly complicated, was they took unsweetened vanilla ice cream, and that was their sweet base. And they used that with, I think they used a little bit of unsalted butter, and then spices like cinnamon, cardamom, nutmeg, same kinds of stuff that you would see in chai masala. So I think I'm going to use that, chai powder, unsweetened vanilla ice cream, red beetroot powder, and maybe some cocoa powder as the base for the rum punch. And then, because after you've done that is hot buttered rum batter once you've done that. And you can put that ice cream aside, and that will be ready to make cocktails. In the first time this recipe was printed, I think the terminology was something like until the next harvest. Or that's how old this cocktail is.
Dang.
But yeah, you can batch that ice cream, get it all together, whack that back in your freezer, and you'll be able to use that to make cocktails. It's meant to be like for the season, so it's the kind of thing that you might make a gallon of ice cream in December, and you would finish making those cocktails in like the beginning of March.
Oh, wow.
So I'm going to be making a very small batch of that stuff.
That sounds good. Or interesting, at least.
And when you serve it, you take an ice cream scoop, put that in your glass, and you add hot water and your base liquor on top of that. And normally, obviously, that would be like your rum. What I'm going to do instead of using hot water and rum is I'm going to use a shot of espresso.
Ooh.
And I think either vanilla vodka or I may use the Appleton 12 year, which is made in a split still. It's made partially in a column still and partially in a pot still. So it has some of that earthy grassiness that you want from like a funky rum, but it also has that like tame, neutral flavor of a white rum.
Interesting. It sounds good. Like everything you just said, it sounds really good.
And it's going to be it's mostly going to be how do you make the batter? And then once we've made the batter, it's just going to be like, oh, I'm going to pull a shot of espresso, I'm going to pour a shot of rum, and then put that in the cup, affogato style. Affogato is a barista term for anything served on top of ice cream.
Affogato?
Mm-hmm. Or there's a French word for that. That's Italian. But there's like a la mode? Is that what it means when it's served with ice cream?
I think so.
Yeah.
Almost positive. I was about to say a la carte, but that's not right.
What would I call that cocktail? Amor a la mode. Love with ice cream. Love served with ice cream.
Love.
I've been practicing my French.
Love with cream.
It's still very bad.
If you were to take your favorite strong drink and marinate your steak in it for however long you'd usually do that for, what drink would you use for it? Then after that, you do... That's actually a really good question. Damn.
I need to read that again to make sure I understand the nature of the question.
All right. So if you're gonna make a steak, if you're gonna prep a steak or whatever, and if you were to marinate it prior to grilling it or whatever, what
cocktail would I marinate it in?
Yes.
You would need something with acidity for it to be an actual marinade. Otherwise, you're not marinating. You're just steeping it. You have to have acidity to break down the lipids in the steak and eat away at the fats, and that's actually why you marinate steak or anything typically. So in my head, I'm thinking like, oh, a smoked old fashioned. I think what I would probably do might be like a smoked salt paloma, which is a grapefruit margarita. This is the simplest way to explain that. I would make that, and that's what I would marinate the steak in, and I might throw sweet peppers and cilantro and stuff there in the marinade. And then if you're talking about like drinking it afterwards, you would have to pasteurize it because you're adding that to raw steak. So you would have to separate it, like get your liquids separated from your steak when you're done, cook the steak, pasteurize your liquid, which means heating it up to about 100 degrees on a stove, and then letting it sit there for about 30 minutes, which is a very long time to be pasteurized.
Yeah.
And then it would be ready to drink safely. Otherwise, I've had horrible experiences with food poisoning. So anything raw, freaks me out, except for eggs. Raw eggs are a little bit easier for me to wrap my head around.
Does that not extend to sushi? Because I know you eat sushi.
Yeah, but sushi is so clean. It doesn't have it's cleaned. It's cooked other ways. It's just not cooked with heat. The same way that like if you've had ceviche, ceviche is raw fish, but it's cooked by the acidity of the marinade that it's put in.
Right.
It's cooked by that lime juice.
Fair enough.
By way that it kills all of the bacteria that's in there. I feel like your alcohol might kill some of the stuff that would bug your system with the steak, but That's a hard sell for me. But on the surface, that's what I would do. I would have some sort of elevated smoked salt rim on a Paloma that has some cilantro element and some sweet pepper element.
I'm not a fan of marinating my steaks.
Only if I do something with the marinade afterwards. I like separating the marinade and turning it into a side sauce.
Yeah.
I don't use my marinades to flavor the steak. I only use them to soften it and tenderize it instead of me going pop, 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 pop.
Yeah, I like to do dry spices.
The one place I don't beat my meat is in the kitchen. The only place. There's only one.
The only place.
It's a sacred place.
The kitchen. What else? What might also potentially go good with steaks? Talking about liquor is potentially mezcal. I would think.
Well, that's why I was thinking of using the smoked salt.
Yeah. That's definitely a lot simpler. But, because, you're not going to use good mezcal on a steak. You're just not going to, But if we're talking just purely hypotheticals here, might not be bad.
I think a mezcal marinade actually sounds really, really good. Because that's the main thing with mezcal is that it's grassy, typically. And it has, unless it's been aged in some kind of barrel, which normally it isn't, it's grassy and very, very smoky. It's like all the smoke that you expect from Islay Scotch.
It's smoky tequila, basically.
And none of the other nuance. Yeah. It's basically smoky tequila.
Yeah. I like it. I like it a lot, actually. I actually prefer that to whiskey. Because a lot of people like whiskey for that. Certain whiskeys for that smokiness. I prefer mezcal.
I prefer mezcal in cocktails to Islay whiskey, but if I'm going to drink one of them neat, I would prefer a whiskey on the rocks.
Can't do it.
No?
I'm not. I know that's some real man shit to drink whiskey on the rocks.
Some of us are just built different.
Yeah, not me, man. Can't do it. I can't sincerely act like I enjoy it, because I don't. It is what it is.
I think there's something so extreme about the experience of having like a really peated, bitter, smoky whiskey that I just like lose myself in that flavor profile, if that makes sense. I'm just like, oh yeah, it's so intense that I enjoy that it washes. I can't think about anything else if I'm drinking a really smoky scotch, because it short circuits everything in my brain. Even if I don't necessarily like the flavor and I don't desire the flavor, that experience of taking a sip of something that is so jarring and so bracingly bitter and smoky that you can't think of anything else, that's relaxing for me, someone whose mind is like constantly going and jumping from one thing to another thing to another thing.
I feel you. That makes sense. But, like, I am never going to, like, if I'm at the house or whatever and I'm just hanging out, I am never going to, like, let me pour myself a whiskey. And just, like...
Not with that attitude.
No, but, like, even without that attitude and the correct attitude, I'm still not going to do that. Like, that's not happening.
I want you to taste some of the weird stuff that I have now.
Let's do it.
Chinar, I do, okay. First try.
What is this?
B-Man. That is Chinar. It is an artichoke liqueur.
Why of all things would you make that a liqueur?
I don't know. Italians decided, hey, you know what we need to have in our bottles?
You know what we
need to take this tiny, terrible little fucking vegetable and we need to put that inside of a bottle so that we can actually drink it.
You know what we could do to make the gabagool better? You put some artichoke in it. Coca-Cola marinade.
Just a little bit. Very earthy, very vegetal.
It smells like a little bit like Fernet's almost. Only a little.
Yeah, but it's not mentholated. It doesn't have that like minty refreshingness to it. It is everything else though that most people don't like about Fernet.
That's different.
Yeah.
I thought
it might be.
I don't dislike it.
It It's a typical Italian aperitif.
Hannah says we should have shots. Or she's not saying it, but she's heavily implying it. What that is? What that is?
Florida Caña, 7-year aged rum. I say that like it's special. This is like a $30 bottle. It's not anything crazy.
That's all right.
But that's my go-to aged rum for my well. So, cheers. Raise them if you got them. You don't have to have a glass. And if you do have a glass, you do not have to have alcohol in it. But thank you all for tuning in, sticking around, making this all possible. Here's to you. Cheers.
Salud.
Cheers.
Salud.
I'm not saying Coca-Cola steak would be good. I'm saying it's an acidic option. Yeah, I mean that doesn't answer the cocktail question though. Of like, what cocktail would you use?
Yeah.
Something like a Bloody Mary would actually make a lot of sense.
I feel like if you have a good cut of steak, it does not need a marinade. Just dry spices. This is Dylan's opinion.
Dry rub.
Yeah.
I agree.
That's it. I like literally never use marinades, and I eat steak a lot.
If I was going to use a drink as a marinade that I intended on drinking afterwards, I think I would marinate the steak and then siphon off the liquid and then barbecue the steak with like a bowl of the liquid in the barbecue with it. And that's how I would get around pasteurizing it. And hopefully it would absorb some more of that like smoke flavor, some of that charcoal or cedar, whatever it is that you're using to cook your steak. It might absorb some of that. Pasteurize itself. That's so much work though. And like it might be fine, but are you gonna put that much effort into something that might be fine? Or are you gonna do something that you know works that will taste great?
It's not gonna level up the eating experience enough.
No. I mean I would do a marinade that I would strain off and use as an ingredient in a cocktail later. Not an entire cocktail as a marinade. I wouldn't do that.
In my, again, Dylan's opinion, marinades are better suited for like cheaper, leaner cuts. So like flank, skirt, stuff like that. Yeah.
Or poultry, chicken marinade.
Marinate the shit out of those. But like if it's like a pretty decent ribeye, it doesn't need any of that.
Yeah.
You know?
It should be cooked by itself.
Yeah.
And then if you have anyone that wants it, you should have like a side of some sort of green sauce.
A little bit of S&P.
Like ají or a oh god. Hannah, what is it that you guys have at your restaurant?
Hannah knows what's up. Cheers, Hannah.
But it's like a green oily sauce.
Chimichurri.
Yes. Actually, yeah, exactly. It's something like a chimichurri.
Wow, I pulled that on my ass.
You definitely did. I would have a side of that, but that's something that like I could work a chimichurri into a cocktail.
Yeah.
It would be interesting for sure.
To say the least.
Screeching Shadows, what's up? Welcome. Thank you for tuning in on Twitch. I appreciate it. How's it going?
Yeah, it's like putting pesto in a cocktail.
It could be done. I don't know how you would do it. I think so many people expect their cocktails to be sweet and refreshing, so having something that's like earthy and bitter.
Yeah, I don't want gabagool on my drink, my cocktail glass. You know?
Oh no, you don't want some deli meats just on the side of your glass?
Not really. I mean, never say never.
That's true.
However,
have you ever had a Bloody Mary with bacon in it?
No.
It's pretty good bacon.
It's
an alright Bloody Mary.
So, do you like Bloody Marys?
They're decent. I mean, I only feel like I should order them ever if I'm having brunch.
Do you like micheladas?
I do like micheladas, yeah.
So it's michelada, not
No,
michelada.
you pronounced it right. It's just my brain sees the word.
Gotcha.
And that's how I read it. It's pronounced michelada.
I like them because it's probably like one of the, I'll just say it's like strange, one of the stranger drinks I've ever had. Maybe not even strange is the right word, but it's just so different than anything else I've ever had, and I think that's why I like them.
I like it because it also makes me want to. It's one of the few cocktails that actually makes me want to eat. So like I could have a michelada with like
all the spices in
pizza.
there.
I could have it with chips and salsa, that's actually what John Luke and I did, and that's what Hannah, John Luke, and I did the last time that we went down to Miami. My grandparents live next to the beach in a condo complex, and so we would go down to the beach and tell them like, oh, we're just gonna walk on the beach, and we'd go a few buildings down to the Ritz that has a beachfront bar, and then we'd go to their bar and we'd get micheladas and chips and salsa, and we would just bum out there
Sounds
for
great.
like 2 hours and then be like, oh shit, they're probably wondering where we are. Let's close out and go. They're super expensive though.
Yeah, I like micheladas.
Agar chimichurri orbs in a smoked Scotch Manhattan. Gotta be the right chimichurri. I feel like you would need. That's making my mouth water. If anyone's wondering, by the way, agar is a coagulate compound. I don't know another way to. I don't know what else to call it. But when you heat it up with a liquid, it binds to the solids in that liquid, and it can create these like nice little orbs, basically. So you heat up your agar and whatever it is that you're trying to make orbs out of. So in this case, it would be chimichurri, until your agar is dissolved and incorporated. Then you get that in a dropper, and you have some cold oil, like oil that you've put in your freezer, cooking oil, and then you drop by drop. You drop it into the cold oil, and what happens is the oil congeals and forms a protective shell around the liquid because of the agar, and that's how you have something called like cocktail caviar, these little orbs of things that are packed with flavor.
That's pretty cool.
Super easy to do, you just have to have agar.
That's pretty cool. So they're kind of like, okay, have you, I'm sure you have at some point, have you ever had a boba drink?
Yeah.
Are they kind of like the little jellies that are in boba drinks?
Yes. Just
Nailed
smaller.
It. Nailed it.
Yeah.
Those are pretty small, though.
Are they? I feel like boba stuff is like that.
Well, no,
they look like olives
no,
to me.
Literally bobas are that size. I'm talking about the jellies. Like, there's actually like little, they're like...
Oh, well then, yeah. Like the droplet, the
Yeah.
spheres that you get from this look like caviar. They're tiny.
Yeah. Okay, so those are definitely... Yeah, okay. Yeah, that answers my question.
And you can serve them dry. You can put it on top of food if you want to, and make people go, "Oh, what is that? Is that caviar?" And then they bite into it, and it tastes like chimichurri. Oh my god! I would want something a little bit vegetal and refreshing, something green in there, like maybe celery or something simple like romaine lettuce in the chimichurri, just to give it a vegetal bite, because otherwise it's too oily for me, I think, in an orb.
Yeah, that would probably be a little difficult to get over at first. Or like if you've never had something like that before, just biting into oil.
I like the idea of doing that in a smoked Manhattan, though. Like, the longer I think about it, it does make sense. It's just the one thing that grapeseed oil works the best. Oh, to make the spheres, the orbs. I need to figure out where to get grapeseed oil then, and agar for that matter.
You can get it at most supplement stores.
You mean the grapeseed oil, right? Not agar.
Correct.
Okay, got it. Fantastic. I was like, I think
yes.
agar. I think I have to like order someplace online. Another like really weird ingredient that many people probably haven't heard of is champagne acid.
Haven't heard of that before.
It's kind of complicated to make, but basically it's an acidic alternative to citrus. So that you don't have to use lime juice, lemon juice, or whatever to balance out your cocktail. You can use a pinch of this stuff, and it does the same thing that acid would do, meaning it makes your sweeter things a little bit less sweet, and it masks the flavor of alcohol and the intensity of alcohol. So just a little bit of that stuff in cocktails.
Huh.
I feel like that's not the next big thing to happen, because like people have been using alternative acids for a long time, but the same reason that I think like pickling agents are about to have a renaissance in cocktails, I think things like champagne acid or just like isolated tartaric acid are going to have like a whole new resurgence, or even maybe just wine in cocktails.
Yeah.
You could dehydrate the chimichurri maybe to take the oil out. Oil wouldn't. It would take the water out, not the oil.
Yeah, the oil would just
would turn
separate
it would turn it into a jelly if you tried to dehydrate a chimichurri.
Or the oil would just separate, would it not? Maybe. No, it wouldn't.
I don't think so. If all the water content is gone, that would be the
that-
stuff that the oil is trying to separate from.
Yeah.
I think it would turn into a gelatin if you try to do, which is also could be useful.
Yeah, like
I think it would be like when you make pesto and you have to have like olive oil and pine nut seeds and fresh basil, I think, and garlic.
Pine nuts, not pine seeds.
Pine nuts. Yeah. So you would just, if I was going to make spheres of that, I would have the oil separate in the freezer. So if we're doing, I think chimichurri also uses an olive oil, I think. So you would cool that olive oil, and then you would get all of your dry ingredients together separately, and then blend those up until they're kind of like a paste, and maybe water it down so that it can fit in your dropper. And then you would drop that back into that oil so that it would be a pop of that chimichurri flavor every time you get one of those to burst in your mouth.
That sounds good to me.
That's so good. You could put that directly on top of steak, and it would these little green cloudy orbs.
Yeah. You may just have to
strain the oil off with a filter. Oh yeah, you could do it like you're doing a fat wash. You could just put the whole thing in your fridge until the oil separates out to the top. Strain everything out of the bottom, and then drip that back into the oil when it's melted.
Did you say fat wash or fatwa?
Fat wash. Yeah, you could foie gras the whole thing.
You could issue a fatwa. I am so confused. Yeah.
Welcome to the live stream. All of us, we're all confused.
How you going?
That's how we got here.
How you going?
Have you heard other people use that phrase?
How you going?
How you going?
Yes, and I got it from un-American people. Like literally un-American people who are not from here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Like, so the coach of my rugby team, he's a Kiwi.
Mm-hmm.
He says it. And I have another guy on my team who is, he's like a tick short of excessively British. And I'm just talking purely in accent. Like, as soon as he opens his mouth, like he says, like as soon as he utters the first letter of the first word he's about to say, you're like, oh yeah, he's from England. He says it too.
That's weird. I always thought it was like a predominantly Australian thing to say.
Now that I'm thinking about it more, it's my coach, the Kiwi, who says it more. How you going? I only got it from him.
I say it sometimes as well, but ooh, I've got hiccups.
Well, you're Mr. International.
Yeah, I bring it up because somebody recently showed me what code switching is.
Oh,
as
yeah.
far as
yeah.
languages go. Yeah, code switching is where you learn to speak different ways depending on like who you're around.
Oh yeah, man.
It was weird for me growing up in my particular instance because I was born in the UK. We lived there for 2 years. That's where I first learned English in the wild and staying at home with my family. And then when we moved here, I had to learn American English from kids at school. And so somebody pointed out that might be why the way that I speak English is so weird compared to the way that I think Americans speak English.
I don't think it's weird. No, but
well, you also spend so much time around me now.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, and also...
You know anyone that sounds like me when they talk?
No, but like I wouldn't say like.
I guess I don't know anyone that sounds like you when they talk either.
How so?
I don't know. Normally, like, have you ever thought of like 2 comedians that sound similar?
Yeah. Yes.
Like how John Mulaney sounds like Kronk, but higher pitched.
Yeah. Gotcha.
Same thing.
But like but it's different though because for you, you're literally from a different country, a different continent, and you have different dialects informing the way that you speak. I don't have that. I'm from the South. I've lived here my whole life. So I would think that would probably apply more to you than it would to me.
Maybe. As well, my parents' English is neither of their first languages.
That too.
I've been told I speak English the way a German speaker speaks English, which is like, I think, the highest compliment someone could have given me.
Say that again?
I speak English the way a German speaker would speak English.
Perfect.
Needlessly specific.
Or needlessly specific or effortlessly well-spoken.
Oh.
Yeah. My
You're
heart.
gonna make me all hard. Welcome everyone if you're just tuning in.
I'll
My
cheers
name
to
is-
Making me hard. You're making me get a chub.
We also never took that shot, but if we take one now, it's gonna be the last one for the live stream.
Could do a shot, or do you want? Would you do a shot, or would you make a drink for yourself? I kind of do want to drink. I don't want to make you work excessively hard.
It's not that hard for me. My ticket time is normally 45 seconds to 1 minute.
Okay. I would
Do
kind
you
of.
want me to make you an espresso martini? No, because you don't want to have caffeine.
It's about to be 9 o'clock, man. I don't need. Do I need espresso right now?
No, it will actually. Some bartenders will be like, "Oh, it's not that much caffeine. It's still a whole shot of espresso. Like you're gonna be awake."
I would also like to say, today alone, I've had half a pot of Cafe Bustelo, which is an insane amount of caffeine, and also pre-workout. I don't need more. So no espresso martinis.
It sounds like you need a dirty martini.
Hey, now.
I want to make you something I know you'll like, though. I don't. If you don't want to have something that's like savory, you might not want.
Hey man, I'm just out here raw dogging life. I'll try it out.
If you don't like it, I will drink it and I'll make you a different one.
Okay. I'm gonna drink it. It's gonna get finished.
No!
Mom ain't raised no pussy.
Why do people turn off my ice maker?
How do you know that you didn't do it?
Because I'm hardly ever here. I always leave it on.
Oh. What would you mix with a cream soda, if anything?
I've seen a lot of cream soda in craft cocktails recently.
Cream soda is one of those things that, like, whenever I see it on the menu, it's one of those things I'll get, like, once every, like, year or two.
That makes sense.
Like, yeah.
I might pour it. I would. So this is gonna sound counterintuitive, and I implore you to not do this at a bar. If I had cream soda here, I would make an espresso martini in a rocks glass or a Collins glass, and then top it with cream soda.
Sounds good.
That's what I would do. If you want to order something like that at a bar, ask them for an espresso martini with a cream soda back, if they have cream soda.
A pickle soda back. A pickle cream soda back.
Oh God, no!
So you can immediately go to the bathroom. What's your take on mixing, like mixing colas or sodas with liquor? Like, you think that takes away from the experience?
No, not at all. So the thing with like sodas, there's so much R&D that goes into making things like Coca-Cola and Sprite that they're pretty much ready-made mixers. It's like if you just add vodka or any sort of like clear liquor to those things, they're good to go. They have all the acidity, all the sweetness, all of the flavor and everything that you would want to add to your liquor. So I think soda is fine.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not really very precious about many of my cocktails.
One of my, I remember one time, this is a long time ago, I haven't done this in a long time. This is when I was a bit younger. I was at the house, I was hanging out, it was a Saturday night, didn't have anything to do, but I wanted to drink. Right. So I was at the house hanging out and I wanted to drink. And I had some Hennessy and I had some cheer wine. So naturally,
In a glass together?
I mixed the two and I made chinny wine. And that shit is amazing. For those of you who are not in the Carolinas, cheer wine is the nectar of the gods. And can really only be found here, I think. Right?
I think so, yeah. Or at least I don't think I've seen it in like Florida. anywhere else I've traveled.
Yeah, it's like a southern thing.
It'd be weird if I was like, you know what, they don't have cheerwine in Florida, but they did have it in South Korea.
That'd be kind of fun. Aguante el Fernet con coca. Saludos desde Argentina.
Drink that. Hola, ¿qué tal?
So
¿Qué pasa? Aguanta el Fernet con coca. I don't have any Fernet right now. Anyone who doesn't speak Spanish, by the way, he's just asking if I've ever tried Fernet with Coca-Cola or if I like Fernet with Coca-Cola.
Good.
I do. Saludos desde Argentina. Saludos.
This is delicious.
The secret is it has to be really fucking cold. That's why I was shaking it like a crazy person, not just because I wanted to be an asshole.
No, that's great. I actually really like that. What? Banging. Make yourself one.
I'm about to, actually.
I'm gonna go take a leak while you do that.
Do it.
BRB.
Shots! We're making cocktails instead of having shots. We're not going to do both, I don't think.
I mean...
Dylan's over there like, the night is young.
Yeah, it's like 8:30. 8:45.
And we're only getting older.
That's right.
I need to grab more ice, guys. Nailed it. First try. I'll be right back. You're coming home with me. Side note, one of the things that's the most frustrating for me as a bartender is when guests steal things from the bar. Pens are even not alright. I feel like that's the thing that people typically leave from bars with most often. But if you can, please also don't even take pens in a restaurant are like cigarettes in prison. We need them things. You want it to be so cold it hurts.
Oh, shit. And it says shots. Sorry.
What are we going to take shots of, Dylan? Now that we're being classy, drinking dirty martinis.
Slancha this time.
Nice driveway. You know what they say in Germany? Prost. Prost.
How do you spell that?
P-R-O-S-T.
P-R-O-U-S-T?
P-R-O-S-T. Prost.
And what's that mean?
Cheers.
Prost?
Yep.
Doesn't sound as
You
good.
gotta roll your R from the back of your throat. Prost.
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 Prost. Let's see. You know what? You pick the shots, so I'm a.
I picked all of them so far.
I know, that's what I'm saying. Like, you've picked the shots.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So let me figure out what we're gonna get into.
I'm letting Dylan call the shots this time.
Yeet. Yeet, yeet. I don't suppose you have any full bottles of Fernets.
Mm-mm.
That's alright.
Not here. You know I have 3 bars now? I have as many bars as John Taffer, technically on paper.
Who's that?
Amen to that. I don't know if you guys heard that, but So John Taffer owns 3 bars. Tienen un hermoso bar. Oh, muchísimas gracias. Es mi bar, pero gracias. Yeah, I built the whole thing. Stocked the whole thing.
Any good?
No.
I appreciate that.
It's the cheapest thing I have on my back bar. And Dylan's like, is this good? No, I'll shoot you straight. I'd do the same thing even if I was getting paid.
Is it worse than Jose?
Yeah.
Really?
Yes.
Damn, that's bad. Okay, we ain't touching that though. Jose Cuervo is bad. That's like bottom of the barrel for me.
Their traditional isn't awful. That's like the cheapest I'd go for a white tequila. I had to get that out of necessity. They had no other white tequila there. But it's terrible. It's like straight petrol.
Oh, yeah. No. Well, have you ever had you know what Irish car bomb? Of course you know what an Irish car bomb is. Have you ever had a Mexican car bomb?
No.
It's not, you don't need too much imagination to figure out what it is. It's a shot of tequila dropped into a Mexican beer.
That makes sense.
It's...
Too bad we drank almost all the Dos Equis.
I mean, I have enough in my bottle.
I have enough in my bottle.
I mean, I'm just saying... Well, so we have to do tequila now. Do you have anything that's not that? That's
I would
tequila?
just use the Lunazol,
Yeah.
honestly.
Yeah, I just saw that. Okay. That's that.
Oh, yeah, I've got plenty of this. Okay.
So, we don't need cups for this. There's no point, because I don't have enough beer in my bottle.
So you want to pour it straight in the bottle?
Perhaps.
Okay.
What are you gonna do?
That's fine. Yeah, we could pour it straight in the bottle. I could do that, or I could measure it out.
No, yeah,
gonna-
you might as well just do that, because I
Yeah.
don't have... Cool. So, just about a Mexican car bomb.
Cheers.
You get slam it.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers. I didn't say it was amazing. DyloTalk. Yeah.
DyloTalk. Mayo, what's up? Welcome back. Thank you for tuning in, and thank you for reminding me to talk about this. So, if you guys have been watching for a long time, even if you've been watching for a really long time, you may not have known that Dylan and I, at one point in time, did have a podcast together that I was going to say didn't suck, but it was actually pretty great.
It was amazing.
We stopped doing it just because, like, our schedules, like, never really aligned after a certain point. But I want to revive DyloTalk now, and I've talked to Dylan about doing it. It's not going to be DyloTalk the way you guys knew it. I want to revive it as something else. We are going to call it Remotely Funny. It's going to be a segment on this channel where Dylan and I trade back and forth going over different things. That's one of the reasons why I have Dylan helping us here on the Uber Beer project, is to sort of like get back on camera with him. And I'm talking about like talking to you like you're not in the room, but we're trying to get back into the groove of like being on camera together. And like I have an editor now, which is great. I have free time when I'm home with Rosalie. So there's no better time to get this done than now. We're going to be reviving DyloTalk, hopefully, but it's not going to be us sitting down shooting shit about, whatever viral memes there are. There is going to be that. But because we're going to be live streaming on Twitch, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and TikTok, and maybe, hopefully, Instagram if I can figure it out, basically, there's always going to be 3 elements to every show. I am one, Dylan is the other, and the third is either going to be memes that we want to react to, or we're going to bring on a guest and trading back and forth, just trying to make people laugh, really.
Yeah.
It's about that. Just that.
Pure entertainment purposes.
Eventually, the dream for Remotely Funny is that it will be a segment where Dylan and I, as co-hosts, get to introduce you guys to some funny people.
Up and coming
So
talent. as it
hopefully,
were.
like comedians.
Yeah.
I already know some, and I've already spoken to a couple who are bigger than I am, who are keen to work on something like this too. So I'm excited for that. Keep an eye out for when we start doing remotely funny. From here at the bar, I think, because I don't have the time to make another set.
Yeah, there's no reason to. We don't need to do that. This is perfect. Because we're going to be drinking anyways.
Oh, for sure. And I want it to be something that comedians can use as a way to get on stage without having to get on stage.
This, yeah, like, I guess ideally in that regard, this will be like the absolute first step into, I guess, someone kicking off a hopefully a promising comedy career. Because if we're talking about comedians specifically, you have to, at some point or another, you have to get on stage and you have to be in front of people, or it doesn't work. It's not stand up at that point. But if that's something you're trying to get into, and that's something you want to pursue, and something you feel like you could be good at or do well at, this could be a launching pad for that.
Yeah,
ideally.
exactly.
And we're gonna be, and when we regardless if we do or don't have guests on, we're going to be shooting the shit regardless and just talking a bunch of bullshit like we normally do anyways, which is always fun. So
saying random off the wall shit.
Yeah.
Trying to get reactions out of each other. We're still going to do that for sure. Oh,
Yeah.
wait, I just realized this LED light isn't on. Why not?
how dare you?
I'm sorry. Did Jean-Luc, reconnect this and just reconnect it wrong? Did I do that?
I don't know, man.
Nope. Well, that must mean that there's something behind me that isn't connected properly. I'll figure it out later.
Fuck if I know.
The stream can't see it. It's just nice having these underbar LEDs so that I can see what's happening down there.
You know what we should totally do for remotely funny? We should get our own show, like poster or like banner or something.
I want to do that. You've seen the Uber Beer Project poster, right?
Yeah.
I want to do that
think.
for remote. I am positive that you've seen it.
Hold on. Is it on?
Side note, where's my phone?
Is it on IG currently?
I knew it the entire time.
Is it on IG?
No, not yet.
Oh, so
The Uber Beer Project is a very deep, long, and hard project that we've been working on.
so not that then.
Oh, not that one specifically, but that is based off of the thing I'm thinking of.
Do you have like a graphic artist you work with, or did you make it
Me.
yourself? Oh, so you made that.
Yeah, I made that.
Nice. So serious.
It definitely does look like I'm explaining something to Jean-Luc, like, oh, no, hold on, just,
Or
nope, no, not that.
Or you're angry at him,
Yeah, or that,
which is,
on brand.
that happened. Yeah. Yeah, right.
But I want to do something like that for you and me that's, like, remotely funny, starring Cointrick and TheDylanTay.
Yeah. Yeah. I think we should totally do that.
And then I could use the same, I took that poster and I reformatted it to a vertical. So I would do the same thing for us.
Gotcha.
It would be you and me, and then it would be remotely funny tonight featuring whoever. And then I would tag them too. So it would mostly be us working with probably people that we can find that have or are trying to build their Instagram following too.
Yeah, so basically the format is at the bare minimum, if we don't have guests, it's going to be us just shooting the shit like we're doing right now.
Yeah.
But just under, literally exactly what we're doing now, just under a different name. At the bare minimum, but like Nico was saying, if we can get guests to perform, maybe not, potentially maybe no, not a full set, but like...
Sets don't begin at, like, most people don't start going, like, I've got a 40-minute set I've been working on.
That's not possible. That's
Yeah,
not
most
possible.
people are
5-10
like,
minutes.
I have a solid 3 minutes.
And that's perfect. That's perfect.
That's fine. I think it would be us getting new comedians here and just going like, hey, give us whatever your 3 to 5 minute set is.
Yeah.
Just deliver that, and I'll give you a laugh track if that makes it easier for you.
Yeah.
But just deliver your 3 to 5, and we'll keep that, hold that, we'll edit it so that it's punchy, and we'll give that to you to put on your social media.
Yeah. Yeah, no,
I would do that, and then when you're done with your set, we'll use the next hour and a half to just literally just sit down with you, talk about the stuff that we liked, or just shoot the shit, just make drinks and get drunk, just have a good time. We could do that too.
Yeah. We'll be doing that. Like, pretty much at bare minimum. Like, we'll be doing that anyways.
Yeah, that's probably gonna happen either way.
How cool would it be though, like if someone just like a new up and comer just kind of blew us out of the water, and like hit you up or me up and like, yeah, so I have an hour I want to work on. Like, that's great.
I feel like you and I are gonna do that before anyone else does that. I feel like we're gonna be. That would be a big thing if you or me were like, hey, next month I'm gonna be testing a 30-minute set that I want you guys to listen to. Tell me what you think.
Dude, I mean, as someone who's never performed stand-up before, if you're an up-and-comer and you can come up with a half hour within a year or two of starting comedy.
Maybe it's different for me because I'm used to being in front of cameras and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm used to just never shutting the fuck up.
Which is fine. That's great. But, like, I mean, just from, like, because I really love and I'm into the art of stand-up. I love it. But, like, your most seasoned, the best of the best stand-ups, they're coming up with a new hour, like, once every, like, year or two.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's not... And their hour isn't actually a hard hour. It's, like, 3 20-minute sets, typically.
Yeah, right, and they just figure out a way to kind of just...
We could do that, too. We could ask people, like, hey, think of... Because thinking of a set is incredibly intimidating. Because you have to... You're not just thinking about what's funny. You're thinking about how one joke leads to the next thing.
Yeah.
I think removing the audience from people and removing that feedback of whether something is good or bad and just getting people to come up in front of a camera and go, hey, listen, I want to tell you guys this story about an ex-girlfriend of mine. All right? And before anyone starts booing or jeering...
It's a great place to start.
Yeah. And just launch from there. Just without... And you don't know if it's landing or anything like that. So all you have to do is get up here in front of the cameras.
And make us laugh.
And just... Yeah, you make us laugh.
That's a bare minimum.
Which is very easy because we're probably going to be inebriated.
Yeah.
We're going to be inebriated.
Yeah, for sure. And yeah, at least for me anyways, I'm an idiot. I'm not a hard... I am not a overly critical audience member, but... If you're funny, I'm going to laugh, but, like, I'm also going to, I'm going to let you know, like...
I think we're pretty analytical, too, about
Yeah.
if a joke flops. I always understand what's supposed to be funny.
Maybe, or, yeah, right, like, if a joke flops, like, maybe you should set it up here, or you should set it up this way, or you should say it like this.
Or I was thinking you were going to go this way, and then when you didn't, it just... I didn't get what I wanted and what I was expecting. It didn't work. So like
it took the wind out of the bit.
Yeah. Or the other way around, going, dude, I didn't think you were gonna go that way with the joke. That was hilarious. You folded that into another joke that you told 5 minutes beforehand when you opened your set. That is a great callback.
Yeah.
Keep that. Like also having moments like that, and in an ideal world, it's just that stuff.
Yeah.
But even just being able to give people like and we could have multiple comedians up here too. Like we could have
in a single stream
groups of like 5 people up to about a dozen people potentially, where we just have them over there. We would call it the green room, but we would have them just waiting there with drinks, and then we'd just call them up one at a time.
Yeah. That sounds good to me. I mean that's.
But we're gonna start with just one person at a time.
Right.
It's scalable.
And if we end up in some weeks or episodes or streams where we don't have anybody,
it's us.
You get to listen to us.
Yeah.
Just like you're doing right now.
We could have a week where Dylan and I are like, look, we couldn't book anybody today, and it's like, cool. We're basically, whenever I go live, in my head, I'm doing 2-hour sets.
Yeah.
Every time I go live.
Yeah.
You have to know how to be punchy, and just like when you hear something, just go like, oh, haha, yeah, here's a funny joke.
Right.
Like when you were putting the muddler in my dick, and I was, you couldn't see my face, You couldn't see my face, but when you were putting that hard wood down there, if you know what I'm talking about,
I do know.
and it didn't violate Twitch TOS, I looked directly into the camera, and I was just doing this the whole time.
I didn't even know that.
Flare the eyebrows, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah,
Let them know you mean business.
for sure. So yeah, that's kind of that's what we're hoping for.
I feel like you and I doing stand-up would be...
I'm not even. You mean
interesting.
You mean us together as like a duo or individually, or both?
Both of us as stand-up comedians, but like on this segment specifically, having the two of us next to each other, side by side, tossing back and forth would be... I think it's most of the stuff that people really enjoyed about DyloTalk, to be honest. And I hear it every time I have you as a guest on any of my content, that it's like, dude, the chemistry that you two have is like, I can't look away. I wanna listen because I feel like one of you is gonna say something that's gonna make me laugh. Which is the hallmark of a good comedian. Half of getting somebody to laugh is making them believe that they want to laugh in the first place. It's not about being funny. It's just convincing them that you're funny, if that makes sense.
Yeah, you gotta know how to turn a word. That's all it is. You just gotta know how to talk. You gotta know how to bullshit. Speaking
of knowing how to talk, you remember when we played D&D that one time,
Mm-hmm.
way back? Yeah.
Well, we've played a few times. Hold on. I've been in maybe
3, I think.
at most.
I think
At the absolute most.
3 different one-shots that I ran.
The last time I was here, no, Faircloth was the second one. The second most recent. The last time we were doing that, it was just you, me, John Luke, I believe. I think.
That sounds right. Most of the stuff that I DM is just meant to be like, hey, we're going to sit down for like 2 to 4 hours, and there's some fun stuff that I want to use to make you guys laugh. And that's my DM style. But I have the chance now to be a player in a D&D podcast.
Oh, word?
So I'm excited for that. There's going to be a lot of memes.
Damn, man, it's been forever since I've seen you.
I can't read your username. I'm sorry. Hold on.
I don't have no idea what this is.
N1XXII. Welcome. Thank you for tuning in on Twitch. I appreciate it.
Whom might you be referring to?
Did you have a different username before? Because I'm not going to bullshit you. Like, your username doesn't look familiar to me, but this happens pretty regularly, like maybe once every other week that someone will tune in and they're like, man, I haven't been here in forever. I've gone through a lot of names. Oh, okay, that makes... Oh, Common Medic, there's a name I remember. Welcome back, dude. How's it going?
Pal.
Pow! Of course I remember you, dude.
What's
yes,
that?
that's a name I remember and a username that hasn't changed. But N1, what was your username before? Also, is that supposed to be 22? N1 22?
Dude, how can you read that?
Squinting.
I'm doing that, and
The lost martial art of squinting. But I was in terms of like, because we were talking about maybe voices. I think when we were talking about doing comedy, the D&D campaign. I don't know what voice I'm going to use for my character because there's a certain degree of role playing that's supposed to happen. And so I want to like. I don't know what accent I should do. My character is kind of like a jester. I'm playing a monk whose monastery seeks enlightenment and fulfillment through innocence. And the most innocent thing that you can do is play games. So, all of the monks just play games.
So here's what
all
I'm thinking.
of the time.
So here's what I'm thinking. So I don't know about you, but when I think of monk, I do not think United States.
Oh, no, absolutely not.
So here's what you do. You go with an American accent, and I'm thinking a thick Boston accent.
Oh, man. I get... Someone will, like, ream me for this in the comments,
Act
but
like
I
you're
get,
Irish.
like, Boston, Long Island, New Jersey, and New York. I get kind of, like, Brooklyn kind of accent. I get muddled between those. No pun intended. But like, when I do an accent for a character, or for any sort of voice acting, anything, there's always an orienting phrase that I use, and I feel like for Boston accent, it's always car door.
Car door.
Car door.
Car.
And if I use that phrase, it informs the way I say everything after that.
Car door in the bar.
I really wanted to use a German or Germanic accent of some kind.
Or that.
I realized what I thought was my German accent this entire time is actually a Flemish-Belgian accent.
Flemish is...
It is a dialect of Dutch. Dutch is a dialect of German.
I didn't know that. I thought Dutch was a language in and of itself.
You know, the English word for German is German. Do you know the German word for German?
No.
Deutsch. Do you know the German word for Dutch?
Deutsch?
Nederlanders.
Wouldn't have said that.
Do you know the Dutch word for German?
No.
Dutch.
What?
You know the Dutch word for Dutch?
The Dutch word for Dutch.
Nederlanders.
Well, that's confusing.
Google it!
That's a bit silly.
Everybody here in chat? Yeah, it's I don't know. I think it's because colonizers from Germany arrived in the Americas, and I think English speakers were like, "Oh, these are Danish people. They're speaking Dutch, so we called it Dutch." Or something like that. Or maybe that's even too myopic.
So
maybe it's before that.
So, you said that Dutch is a German dialect.
Meaning the native language of the Netherlands is a German dialect.
Correct.
They call it Dutch.
Okay. Just making sure I heard it correctly. I didn't
Or
know
sorry, we call it Dutch. But in the Netherlands, they don't call their language Dutch. They call their language Netherlandus, which is Netherlandish.
Okay.
They call German Dutch.
God, that's confusing.
Basically what it means is German as a language is up here. Then you have the Netherlands, where they speak Netherlandish, for lack of a better term. Then you have Flemish, which is a dialect of a language.
Okay, so Flemish is a Belgium-specific dialect of German.
Yeah, actually, yeah.
Okay.
Belgium has 3 recognized official languages. French,
Wait, Germany?
French,
You said Germany does?
Flemish, and German.
Sorry, did you say Germany or
Belgium.
Bel-
Belgium has 3 recognized official languages.
Say it again. German.
French, and Flemish.
Didn't know that.
I didn't know that German was an official language of Belgium until recently. I looked it up.
So, Flemish is... Do you know how to speak Flemish? Do you understand it?
I know the Flemish word for Flemish, and that's it.
Which is?
Flemsk.
Flemsk.
I think. But my German's great, weirdly enough.
Back to that.
So, fun fact, Hannah and I we're going to Switzerland at the end of February.
Fuck yeah.
For a week.
Fuck yeah.
And if you don't know anything about Switzerland, the one thing that you should know is that they speak 4 languages there. I don't speak any of them.
It's very much a multinational
I speak
country.
more languages than I think most people, hopefully.
Hold on.
I don't speak these 4.
Let me guess their languages. Switzerland?
Yeah.
French?
Yes.
English?
No.
That's not one of their official languages?
No.
Really?
Yes.
Dutch? Do they consider that a language in Switzerland?
They speak German.
Okay, so yes, thank you. French, German,
The other one's going to be very weird.
like obscure, kind of.
No. Common language.
Don't tell me.
not Spanish.
Finnish.
It's Italian.
Really?
Yes.
Damn.
And the fourth one is Swiss.
Yeah, okay. I recognize it.
Those are their official languages because Switzerland is actually broken into about 3 regions. Belgium is broken into Walloon and Flanders. Flanders is where they speak Flemish, which is a dialect of Dutch. Walloon is where they speak French. Because Belgium is between France and the Netherlands and Germany.
Mm.
And Dutch is basically German. I don't know if we covered that. And
Damn.
Switzerland is between France on its western border, Germany on its eastern border, and Italy in its southern border.
I would have never, ever, ever guessed Italian. Without having a look at a map, at least.
Yeah, because it's not like the other languages. It's
No.
like you can't speak French and reasonably be like, oh, wait, listen, I already speak French. Like, it would be very easy for me to learn how to speak Italian. No one says that. That doesn't
No.
happen.
No. No.
Or German speakers. Could you imagine?
No.
Ja, ich spreche Deutsch. And I think it would be very easy for me to learn how to speak Italian.
Understaken Italiano.
That doesn't happen. That doesn't exist.
The drink was really good that you made.
It is actually really good.
I really liked it.
I'm looking at the clock right now, guys, and I'm seeing it's just past 9 o'clock, which means that is all the time that we have for tonight. Thank you all for tuning in, sticking around, showing up. I do appreciate it. I'm sorry we couldn't go live on TikTok at the same time. We did try, but I would rather give y'all a good show where you can see all of the frames and hear everything that we're saying, and the audio and the video is matched up, than try to do like a quarter half-assed show between 6 different platforms. So tonight was for you guys. I loved it. I had a great time. Dylan, I hope you had a great time as well.
Always.
The beer is going to be ready to bottle in a few weeks, so it's still going to be a while before we get to taste it, but it's coming along very, very well. Thank you all for tuning in, sticking around, showing up. Thanks for all of your help and support. Hopefully we have been helpful and supportive as well, since that's why we do everything that we do here. The next live stream is going to be tomorrow. It's going to be an early live stream, either 11 to 1 or 12 to 2. It may be a little bit longer than a couple hours, but we're probably going to be playing Halo, running through whatever the new challenges are, just because that's easy for me. And if you haven't already and you want to play with me, you can always add CoinTrick across all media. If you're on Steam or Battle.net or whatever, just find CoinTrick. It's probably me. Send me a request, and I would love to play with you guys. But until then, thank you all for tuning in, sticking around. I do appreciate it, and hopefully we see you all in the next live stream. Until then, be good, be kind, be helpful, and I'll see you all next time. Until
Adios.
then, good night, everybody.
Good night.